There's nothing profoundly new about this game. Yes, it's fun, but MMO market is flooded with options now. Lack of mounts will get people to leave. I'm level 10 and already getting sick of running all over the place. Even with fast travel, it's tedious, and Recalton Inn is only on a 6-minute timer, which is BS. Agreed. I get it, the 60-minute timer, because they don't want you to just recall whenever you want. It makes it a little bit more special, I guess, but just having a mount or a sprint button. I don't think there's a sprint button. If there is, I'm an idiot. I haven't found it, but we need a sprint button. At least. Good lord. Let's look at the replies here. Oh, cool. This guy's straight to the point, huh? Nope, mounts aren't needed, and if you and others are quit because of it, bye. Less queue time. I would like a sprint option in game, though. We have a stamina mechanic already in the game. So a sprint burst using stamina would be nice. Other games have this. This game should also. Yeah, definitely need a sprint. At least a sprint. Sometimes we have to play the games where they were developed and try to understand the why before whipping out the "I'll quit" catchphrase. While I would never try and tell you how to enjoy the game, I would instead suggest trying to enjoy the game, knowing that most likely down the road mounts will make their way into the game. Last, I would counter your statement. This may be actually one of the reasons why people stay with the game, because it doesn't try to check every box and everything. It simply can't make everyone happy all the time. True. People are just, they don't really care. That's crazy. People don't care about the mounts. I do. But I also don't want to spend 20 freaking minutes walking places. Just some way to travel a little bit quicker. I would be happy. I get what you're saying, but in my opinion, it is a breath of fresh air not having to worry about mounts, because if there were, then people would be crying about needing flying, and I'm sure there will be people who leave because of it, which is fine. A mountless MMO isn't for everyone. I mean, I don't think it needs flying, but it needs a horse, or if you could ride a boar or something, some way to travel a little bit quicker. Especially just when you have the map, and then the map's huge as it is, right? And then the game's been data mined, and the map's going to get bigger. Unless they make it easier to fast travel in some way. Or add a sprint option. Or lower the cost of fast traveling. Something. They got to do something. If they're not going to add mounts, it's fine. But they gotta make traveling from place to place easier and more accessible. Especially if your game's going to get bigger. Apparently. Every MMO I have played that have bowed to the demands of making players' life easier has actually made the game more boring. Some fixes are needed, but once you take interaction with others out of the game, it becomes boring and players will leave for some other game. It starts by adding mounts, then they add guild halls and teleports in guild halls and so on till there are no interaction except with guild mates. It happens every time in every MMO. Players want, and the company that owns the game gets greedy and adds stuff to accommodate players in ways of real-life money. It happens, but the bright side is other MMOs will be made and players will migrate to them when the game becomes boring. Enjoy the start of this new game, and when you get bored with it, go outside and play with the kids, catch a movie, or take the wife out to dinner. After all, it's just a game and real life is more important. Agreed. But if you're trying to play a game, and play it. It needs to be easier to travel around the game. It'd be cool, if you could use gold, and pay for a carriage to travel you somewhere, fast travel you somewhere. Almost like Skyrim. You go to this guy, You pay them a fee, like real, like gold, not real money, but gold, not the Visage stuff or whatever it's called, the blue stuff. You actually pay him gold, and he takes you somewhere. Whether it be a loading screen or whether it actually like be on a direct path, debatable, but just something. They got to do something. Make traveling around the world more accessible and easier, more fun. Because Jesus, even when you run, like you get aggro from enemies, and those enemies chase you for so long. And it's just then they hit you, then it slows you down even more. I hope they will quit. Besides this, this game is buy to play. They already made money. They don't give an F. Nah, I think they do give an F. It's their first actual game that's gaining traction. They definitely don't want it to fail. With fast travel, mounts are not needed with given the current size. Yeah, but fast travel, it's limited. This has been their argument against it, and it is false. The size and speed of our character relative to the distance is damn near identical to real life. They don't want to add mounts because they don't want their art to become trivialized. Which is going to happen anyway, already has. It's an MMO. For those first-time MMO players, I can see why they follow the orders given to them by their overlords. For the rest of us, with experience in this space, give us our mounts. But the few that hate them run everywhere, I would love to see it. 100% of the haters would push the mount button and ride them in-game all the time. Yeah, people think that like if you add mounts, you're not going to be able to enjoy the world and the art of the game and stuff, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that, because when I'm playing Final Fantasy and I'm like using my mount, I stop all the time to like look at like the world. If people aren't already looking at your art, adding a mount isn't going to make them not look at your art. If that makes sense. Like the people that enjoy the art are going to take it in, regardless of mount or not. If you're traveling quickly or not, they're going to stop and take it in and check it out. Like regardless. So I stop all the time in Final Fantasy and like look around. What you're about to read is why mounts are bad for the game and what Amazon games can do instead. This game is focused on world PvP. You need to do PvP quests to gain territory influence to be able to do 50-50 war to take over territory. Giving people mounts the same way we see mounts not flying in other MMOs will slowly kill open world PvP. The map is... I don't see how that's possible. Why would it kill open world PvP? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I see. Because people can't attack. Well, make an option to, if you're riding a horse, to pull your sword out and attack while you're on your horse. Make an option to be able to, if you're riding your mount, to use your bow or your gun. That wouldn't affect anything if they did that. I don't think it would kill PvP at all. You know, you could shoot somebody or their animal or whatever and it knock them off. Or you can just chase them down and shoot them, and you know it'd be the same. I feel like the map is simple, just too small for mounts at this point of time. Disagree, because it takes 20 minutes or so to run from place to place. Map's freaking huge. What are you talking about? Especially when you're walking. The game also having a focus on content to do while running to your next quest location, gathering chests, hunting, and so on. But you don't have to not do that if you mount. You can get off the mount. If you see something you need, you can get off of your mount and do it anyway. Like me, currently. I run past a lot of stuff, gathering and stuff like that. I don't do any of that unless I have an actual quest for it, in which case, yeah, sure, if I see something, I'll do it on the way. So what can they do instead? Adding a faster sprint option that costs stamina. While using is for me a better option, and here's why. I agree. They should, I said this before, they should definitely add a sprint option. Stamina is already something that's in the game. You use it for blocking, dodging, and some attacks. and giving a faster sprint here makes managing your stamina even more important. They can make new basic attacks around the system, heavy and light attack, that are a bit different when done in sprint. Some weapons may have better chasing tools this way, and so on. A stamina sprint option just feels more the spirit of the game. I don't know how many times I pressed shift because I thought I'll start sprinting. Right, I do this all the time. I always try to sprint in the game, and it's weird. It's weird there's no sprint. Oh, and for those of you that wants mounts, so you can grind bosses for drops and so on. They can basically do the same thing with a pet that just follow you around. Maybe that pet gives you a small buff. And as always, the more you disagree with the person, the nicer you must speak to that person. Yeah, I don't think the bad outweigh the. They don't make sense to me. But hey, whatevs, you know. Hopefully, I don't know. But if the Amazon wants the game to continue to be good, or to be good, or live longer, and not just be a hype game for a few months like Fall Guys or Among Us, they need to actively work on the game and improve it. Whether it be mounts, whether it be sprint, better fast travel, something.